What is up, guys? Greedy Knight here with a Wyvern Scalp farming guide. If you want to get some of the better weapons for Charge Blade, I would suggest doing this quest at least a few times to get those Wyvern Scalps. I'm hunting a low rank village Senator because he is super easy to mount, trip, KO, and kill. Many Senators were harmed in the making of this video. Let's get to the farming. In terms of my gear for the hunt, I use Sarah's Sediment, High Raw, and can KO Sienna the easiest because of Artillery Novice. It's a solid weapon for this particular method. In terms of my armor, I'm using the Nasset armor with my Transmog set skinned over it. I have Mounting Master and Vault to optimize chances to mount and maximize damage respectively. It makes breaking the shell all the more easier, especially when paired with Sarah's Sediment. Load up makes yellow charge fill for 5 vials instead of 3, which I only recommend using with aerial, as other styles don't really need it because it has access to the charge slash. Razor Sharp maintains white sharpness for the hunt, and Constitution means I can keep vaulting even if I miss. Artillery Novice and Eating for a Feline Bombardier jacks up my file damage by 1.4 multiplier, meaning my SAEDs break the shell, KO, and stagger Sienna easier. Aside from me being a Charge Blade main, the reason I chose the Run Charge Blade for this farming method is because on Sienna Shell, impact damage has a higher damage modifier than cutting damage. In Axe mode, you apply both cutting and impact damage, cutting from the Axe mode and impact damage from file explosions, so you can break the shell pretty fast compared to other weapons. However, Greatsword and Switch Axe are similarly good candidates for this run. It's just that I don't run those weapons particularly. Aerial style is optimal for this run just because it gives free access to the shell and creates a bunch of openings to bash the shell in without worrying of getting hit while Senator is up, and it makes sure he stays down. First up is the dead shell. This shell won't give you any Wyvern Scalps, so you can feel free to abandon the quest if you encounter it. I didn't do so for this clip because I'm also in need of the small crown for Sienna. There are 2 paths you can take from base camp: right, straight, right, and straight, or up, right, right, left. Of my runs, I think the latter is slightly faster, but in the end, my best time is done from doing the first route. A few things to note during this hunt: the general spots you want to be vaulting off of are in the face, shell, and the legs. They give you a decent enough angle to reach the shell in axe mode. Mid-air, you can point in a direction to hit in that direction, regardless of where your trajectory is. So you don't necessarily need to worry about vaulting in the correct position. Avoid getting hit to optimize your time. I pretty much only use my optimized clips for this video, but there are a few clips where I get bodied and Senator runs off to another area before I kill it. Notice how I stay in Sword and Shield mode to have my mobility on the ground and transform mid-air. It cuts down on the laggy transformation animation and gives me free access to axe mode, and it's higher damage when I need it. I done bombed the Sienna to try and reset for another shell, but get another seashell. But with this quest, you should just abandon it if you don't get a Wyvern or regular shell, because the Sienna's HP is so low, you only have one chance to break the shell. In between hunts, there's a rough 30 seconds to a minute of loading, so factor that in when you want to attempt this run. Next up is the regular shell. This one is a standard run. You want to avoid hitting anything but the shell so you don't prematurely kill Sienna before breaking the shell, otherwise you miss out on getting a shell entirely. Keep in mind that the drop rate for Wyvern shells are 50% after it's broken, so even though I broke the shell, I still don't get one due to RNG after it's all said and done. To speed up times after the quest is finished, just blindly sell everything if you don't get the scalps. It'll be easy to identify it in the rewards, as shown in the next clip. Last is the Wyvern shell. For this next clip, it's the same old adage of mount, then topple, into break shell. The truest of combos. Focusing the shell becomes a rhythm after 10 plus hunts, and you get a clip as clean as this. Not much else to say about it, other than I have a few more clips like this, and I don't want to bore you with repetitive clips unless you want me to. Here I get the double scalp, which is why you want to hunt down every Senator who decided to dwell in a Gravio shell. It oddly enough has a high probability of popping up based on the hunts I did. The Wyvern scalp will always pop up in the rewards 2 section, so you can identify whether your run was successful before you even inspect the items. And that's the end of the video. If you need Wyvern scalps for whatever reason, this video should have helped you with at least getting a few. As usual, like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel grow. I appreciate it. Greedy Knight, signing out. Happy hunting!